Alright, testing. Let's test this out. Make sure that we have actual sound coming through. Let's see. Double check. Okay. Let's see. We are good. Okay, guys. So, for those of you who do not know, Trump was almost assassinated about 2 hours ago, maybe a little bit, maybe closer to 3 hours ago, at his event that he was holding in Pennsylvania. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I was not home at the time, otherwise I would have gone live a lot sooner with this. This is insane. So, just give me a second. I'm trying to get the news up and running so that way we can watch this stuff together. It's going to take a minute because I have a bunch of tabs in OBS and I have to get them to work. So, forgive me, I have not streamed in a while, so let me just get this to work for y'all. But, yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, this was something that I kind of figured was going to happen at some point, with the amount of crazy stuff going on. Let's see. Okay. I think I can bring it up now. Hold on. Let me see if it will let me bring it up now. Google Live, latest news and headlines. Should bring it up. Okay, here we go. So, let's see what they are saying so far.
As a real risk to events, to people that gather. Look, just in recent years, we saw the Highland Park, Illinois mass shooting on July 4th, 2022. That was a shooter who was at an elevated position. Of course, the Las Vegas massacre, the worst mass shooting in American history, that was with a shooter who fired down from an elevated position on the Las Vegas Strip. And obviously, we can't forget President Kennedy was killed by a gunman who was located floors above the motorcade that Kennedy was in when he was assassinated. Elevated positions are the Secret Service prepares for this. So a key.
They didn't do a very good job.
How did this gunman get to the location? Why was that location available to that person?
Exactly, and I think obviously this is early on, and it's hard to ask some of these hypothetical questions now. But Josh, you know, like all the surveillance and the scanning of these areas that go into place before the event even occurs, and the drones and the helicopters and devices up above. It's hard to imagine how something like this could have been missed from 200, 300 yards away, a rooftop elevated position. That will definitely be part of the investigation going forward.
Absolutely. And in fact, the Secret Service has already gone public during the January.
Okay, so right now they're just kind of talking about just all the stuff that was happening and how it could have possibly happened. So let's just, okay. Let me just give you a breakdown of generally what happened. Basically, Trump's at his rally. He's sitting there. You know, he's talking, and a shot rings out. Everyone kind of stops for a second. Another shot rings out. He grabs his right ear, falls to the ground. Secret Service covers him. I've heard a bunch of stuff from other people talking about how the shooter just climbed up on a roof and people tried to get the attention of, Secret Service or police, and everyone was kind of like, he was shooting from an elevated position outside of the actual cordoned off area. So it seems like he got up onto the roof, shot with a AR-style rifle from about 200 to 300 feet away, which is, depending on what he was shooting with, might possibly be a little bit difficult, which is probably why he missed. Unfortunately, even though he only hit Trump in the ear, which we still don't know if that's actually what happened. There's been two different reports. One is that he hit a teleprompter and the glass is what hit Trump, but Trump came out and said that he got shot in the ear. We don't know. No idea yet. But that's as far as we know. But my question is, why was that area, that elevated area with buildings, not part of the guarded area? And why is it that it took so long to respond, especially when other people were pointing it out? Now, other than that, unfortunately, three people, one person is dead and two people have been injured that are in critical condition. They may or may not end up dying later. There's nothing there's still not anything released on those two people. So we'll see what happens. Right now, let's go back and see. Let me see what they're talking about now. We'll see what they're saying.
Put up to basically secure this place, several block radius, basically already on lockdown, even though the convention itself doesn't start until Monday at 2 o'clock Eastern time. But they were preparing to keep this, and I've been covering political conventions for a long time. Heightened security is not new, but there does feel to be something different already before this terrible event in Pennsylvania. A heightened sense of concern, again, given the threat environment, given the fact that death threats have become just a matter of course across in our politics. Political figures, public servants,
yeah, and they really shouldn't have been
facing this kind
of
stuff. So
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody took what happened here and decided to do the same thing to Biden. Like, hold on. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Hold on. Oh my gosh.
These threats for months now.
Mute you. I wouldn't be surprised if something like this happened to Biden just based off of what happened here. I'm not saying it should. I'm just saying that with the political back and forth in this country, especially what they just said about the rhetoric getting to that point where people are calling for the death of, or saying that they're as bad as Hitler, or all of that stuff. This doesn't surprise me that this took place, and it wouldn't surprise me if someone tried this at Biden's next rally. It's just gotten to the point where it has escalated past the point of words. And Trump, they tried to keep him from being president. They have tried to arrest him. They've tried to silence him. And then, of course, the next logical step after none of that works is to kill him. So, again, I'm not surprised that something like this took place. It's not... It's following the course of events logically. And the next logical thing would be, like I said, something like this happening to Biden. I don't agree with it. I don't think it should happen. But I would not be surprised if something like that happened. I don't know what could be done at this point to help lower the temperature, I suppose. We'll go back to that in a minute. I don't understand what we could do to lower the political temperature in this country. If you guys have any suggestions, put them down in the chat. But it's crazy to me that it's gotten this far. I mean, we haven't seen... Well, I mean, no, because, I mean, we've had a few other attempts. I think, if I remember correctly, back when Trump was running the first time, I think there was a couple. Were there not? I don't remember. I think there was, but I'm not 100% sure. Somebody let me know. I can't remember whether or not there was or not.
As our party's nominee, President Trump will continue to share his vision to make America great again. So the key line there is that President Trump looks forward to joining you here in Milwaukee to continue the plans for our convention. Nothing is changing here in terms of the convention going forward. In fact, an individual I spoke to who's been involved in the planning here said they were still working things out, but predicted that the convention wouldn't just continue, but it will continue with a vengeance. I expect not just all 4 days of this convention to take place.
I wouldn't have expected him to cancel anything, considering it wasn't a serious injury. I mean, I expect them to up the security, obviously, but...
All right, John Carl, let's go to someone who knows a lot about Republican conventions, and Reince Priebus, our political contributor, who's also a former head of the RNC and former chief of staff at one time under Trump. Reince is joining us on the phone right now. First, Reince, can you just give me your reaction? What are you hearing from Republicans across the board?
Well, obviously, like everybody, it's just horrific and dreadful, and it's a sad day. It's, innocent person was killed, and maybe others. We just don't know the extent of this stuff, but it's just a sad reminder of how violent some people can be, and seemingly our inability to stop it. So it's all of those emotions all at the same time. So, and we're also gathered right now with, what soon will be about 50,000 people in Milwaukee to celebrate our nominee, and also celebrate our community in Milwaukee and in Wisconsin. And obviously it's tragic in a lot of ways. So I'm obviously grateful and I'm grateful that the guy was killed, but the whole thing's tragic.
Everybody's saying, or the people that said that the people that said that he got shot, or that the shooter hit the teleprompter and then the teleprompter's glass is what cut his ear, doesn't really make sense. Mostly because of how far the teleprompter was away from him. Like, based on all the things that I've seen so far, Trump's standing here, he's looking slightly off to the right, and there's a teleprompter like 20 or 30 feet over here, and that's what the bullet supposedly went through, and then the glass traveled 30 or 40 feet and cut him in the ear, but that seems a little much for me. I think it's much more likely that a bullet actually went through his ear. And the reason I say that is because if the guy was using an AR chambered in, let's say it's probably 223 or 556, at 200 to 300 feet, I mean, you're looking at anywhere from what is that? Hold on, let me look. How many yards are in a foot? Feet to yards. Okay, so let's say it was 300 feet. 300 feet is about 100 yards, which is roughly a football field away. So we're talking, 100 yards is really not that far for an AR, because I believe the effective distance for an AR is 300 yards, give or take. So You could probably stretch it to 400 if you're a really good shot with a good optic, but 100 yards is doable, depending on the sight, the wind, all that. At 100 yards, though, if you have, a slight offset on your rifle, then you could easily miss the target that you're shooting at by, a quarter of an inch, millimeters even. So if he was aiming, right between Trump's eyes here, and he was off based on either windage or just he didn't sight his rifle incorrectly, or he's even maybe using a red dot, then, from here to here is what, 3 inches? Less than that? Yeah, like 3 inches, which is, the guy could have had his little crosshairs directly on Trump's head and still missed, just because of that. So it's probable, in my opinion, that he was aiming directly at Trump's head, not through a teleprompter. Because he hit some other guy. Now, I don't know exactly where that guy was, but assuming that the guy was standing on the same side as the supposed teleprompter, then he probably shot that guy to get him out of the way because he was in the way of Trump, and then took a second to shoot again, and then missed. The first shot that you ever take is probably going to be your most accurate, mostly because the second that first shot breaks, you've had time to line it up, you've had time to kind of get it in your sights, and then you fire. After that, it's immediate. If you've already had an adrenaline dump, but you got more of an adrenaline dump after that first shot, because now you're on a timer, because people have heard the first shot, Secret Service is now looking around, what's going on, you know what I mean? So that's, honestly, that could be why he missed the second shot too. So I'm glad that the first shot missed, but I have a feeling that it was either guy didn't zero his rifle in, he didn't take into account wind or anything like that, or the nerves of it just overtook him. Either way, if that shot to Trump's ear was actually a bullet and not glass, then Trump came about half an inch from dying. And I gotta give it to him. Props to him that he stood up afterward and was just like, yeah, I'm fine. Like right there. He's basically just like, yeah, keep fighting. I'm good. And whether or not you like the guy, that takes some pretty good emotional, fortitude to be shot in the head. Because, you're going to be like, it's the ear. It's on his head. He got shot in the head, and he was able to just stand up and be like, all right, yeah, let's get out of here, without seeming to have been that freaked out. You kind of got to give it to the guy a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay? You know what I mean? Because that's kind of crazy. Oh, wow. Yeah, somebody man, so somebody popped in here just to say something like that. That's crazy. Somebody popped into my chat and just said something off the cuff about, it's too bad Trump didn't die type thing. We don't need that here, guys. That's not, no. Please don't do that. Please don't say things like that. Whether or not you like the guy or not is irrelevant. Okay? Somebody tried to kill somebody. That's not cool. And in the process of trying to kill somebody else died. Somebody completely innocent. So, there's always going to be collateral damage and stuff like this. So, you sitting here and being like, it's a real shame he didn't die. Somebody else died. Somebody else who did not deserve it is dead. So by you sitting here saying, it's a good thing that the guy tried to kill him or something like that, you're by proxy condoning what happened to the innocent person who's now dead. So we don't need that. So let's see. Let's go back and see what they're saying now.
Who, of course, has been on the very short list as a possible VP pick for Donald Trump.
Now they're just talking about the VP pick.
Joe Biden's rhetoric is partly to blame for this, noting that the president has been running a campaign very much centered on Biden's argument that Donald Trump is a danger to democracy. The president is trying, to use this as a moment to bring the country together. Of course, that sentiment is something that his campaign strongly disagrees with. But I think it is no surprise, given how divisive the rhetoric in this country is now, given how divided our nation is, that we are unfortunately seeing, just shortly after a horrific incident like this, that there are, efforts to politicize some of this. How this plays out, of course, remains to be seen.
This is such a pivotal moment in the campaign as we move towards the conventions and then the elections. It remains to be seen how the country.
Honestly, like Trump probably just got a lot more support because of this.
Bring in. We have some more eyewitnesses who were there at that event in Pennsylvania.
Oh, cool! Eyewitnesses. Let's listen to what they have to say.
He is joining us now on the phone. John, if you can hear me, just walk us through what you saw and heard.
Hey, yeah. So, well, first, I just wanted to send out my condolences and prayers to the families of the victims. It was just crazy to just watch that so fast. But I'm just going to jump right into it, right to when the shots happened. Trump started his speech, and immediately it sounded like what everyone's saying, like fireworks or firecrackers. And as soon as I heard the first one, I looked over. We were probably right in the middle of the stands. If you're facing Trump, we were in the left section underneath the screen, right in the front row. I just saw the bullets hitting the stands, bouncing up, and I thought they were like the shells at first. Like I thought someone was right beside us. And then I heard the pause. There was the 4 shots, maybe a 5-second pause, and then the rest of the 4 shots that I then heard. And then all of a sudden I'm hearing everyone just screaming, get down, get down. I'm hearing get a medic. I'm seeing people with blood on them. I'm trying to help people get down. And I look up, I see the Secret Service gathering Trump immediately. Like I heard everyone saying, that was just highly impressive. But yeah, that was basically it from that. It just happened all so fast.
I'm sure, and John, again, as we've seen the video, it was really just a matter of seconds that all this was happening as the shots were fired, and you're there witnessing all of this in real time. Was there a moment when fear started to settle in, when you realized, oh, this is real, this is really happening, these are gunshots, and now I'm worried about my own safety and the safety of others?
So I wouldn't say fear, but definitely more concern for others, because I was around a lot of more older people, so I was more worried about trying to get them down before I can get myself, because I knew I was going to. I have my faith in God, so I knew I was going to be okay, but I just wanted to help other people get down, and I had someone's, person with me. I was covering them. They were crying. I was trying to calm them down, help them keep calm. I told them just to keep praying, keep calm. I just kept telling everything was going to be okay, but unfortunately for those 2 victims, or if there was more, I'm not sure, but yeah, tried my best.
Were you close to some of the victims?
Probably about 5 to 7 feet away from the one gentleman in the stands there who, I guess it was someone's father there.
And how quickly after seeing that victim did you realize that person was in grave danger? Was it immediate?
It was immediate. Like I seen, whenever I heard he got hit in the head, from what I heard, I seen someone else give the signal that he didn't make it, and that just infuriated me. That just enraged me, and I just have a feeling that we're gonna come back and come out stronger than ever. I feel now.
And when you say that, and of course, there's such a mix of emotions, right? And you were there, and you're still processing everything. But when you say we're going to come out of this stronger, what do you mean by that? You mean the country? You mean uniting?
Country, yep.
Yeah.
As one, I feel like people are going to hopefully eventually start joining together and come out as one against the evil coming into the world or into our country, however you want to look at it like that. Stand up, I guess you could say.
John Dohanish, we appreciate your time tonight, and we're thankful that you are okay and the people around you, and we're just so sorry, and our hearts ache for you and others who had to witness this horror, and of course the families of those who were killed and injured. John, thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Once again, for those of you who are just tuning in, we're coming to 10 p.m. Eastern Time here, the top of the hour. We've been on this story for hours. I'm Whit Johnson in New York. We are following the major developments tonight after the shooting at a campaign rally for former President Donald Trump. This happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. On the right side of your screen right there, you're seeing the events play out in real time. It was a matter of seconds. The president described the incident on Truth Social a short time ago, saying that he was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of his right ear. And you can actually see in the video moments before he reached for his ear before he went down to the ground. He was then taken to a nearby hospital and is reported to be fine. The incident is being investigated now as a possible assassination attempt. Authorities say the shots were fired from a rooftop outside the venue from some 200 to 300 yards away.
Just a possible.
8 rounds were fired from an AR-style rifle. The shooter was then neutralized, killed by the Secret Service. A second person, a bystander, is also dead, and we're told that 2 others were injured, and we're still awaiting more details on their conditions. Earlier this evening, President Biden came before the cameras condemning the violence, saying
I don't care. I
agents.
don't care about what he has to say. Crazy, bro. I'm curious about why those buildings were not included. That's what I want to know. Why were those buildings not included in the perimeter? Because he was outside the perimeter. I also want to know why law enforcement who were told that he was there didn't go up and do anything about it. Big questions. Lots of questions. I don't know what they're doing about it. Like, I think from what one of the other news stories said earlier, they were expanding the thing for the convention tomorrow, I believe, because it was like an hour or two after the shooting. They were expanding the buffer zone for tomorrow's event. And he's probably still going to do tomorrow's event. I don't see why he wouldn't. I mean, he got shot in the ear, but it's not like a major injury. He's got a hole in his ear, yeah. And it was an assassination attempt, obviously. But I'm curious to know what the shooter's motive was. Like, was this a leftist? Was this was it a Trump supporter that was just, like, pissed off? Or, like, we have no idea. It's interesting to think about. There's so many things that it could possibly be, but we don't have any idea. And some people were like, well, did they kill the shooter? Yeah, they killed the shooter, like, immediately. Like, you don't take a shot at the president and, like, survive unless the CIA wants you to. JFK. But, like, seriously, I think the only reason Trump actually survived potentially is, one, like I explained earlier, why the guy potentially missed. But the second thing is, after he got shot in the ear, when it actually hit him in the ear, he moved. Like, you saw him, like, grab it and move. So if the shooter had readjusted based on him missing, and, like, you know, the 3 inches to, like, if he hit here and he was aiming here and he aimed here, then he would have hit here. If Trump moved like that, then that third shot, a third or fourth shot, probably, if he had not moved, probably would have killed him. And I don't know if it was the first or the third or fourth shot that hit the innocent bystanders. I don't know, because they haven't really said where the people were. I know that 2 of them, I think, were in the bleachers off to the back if you're looking at Trump, it's the back right, but his back left. Because that was where there was a video that was taken where they were bringing him down. Let me see if they're going to play that. They might play that again. Let's see. Let's go back to this.
Live rounds fired from a rooftop adjacent to the venue outside the security perimeter. This is being investigated as an attempt.
Okay, yeah. But what I want to know is, which direction?
At least one person is dead, and the shooter is dead as well. Tonight, President Biden addressing the nation.
I don't care what he said. Like, can you guys bring up the replay of the guys getting dragged down? Because
he's doing well. I plan on talking to him shortly. I hope.
It looked like
Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country.
Oh my God, this guy.
We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like.
You say we can't allow for this to be happening, but you have described Trump as Hitler on more than one occasion. You've said that he's like a neo-Nazi racist person. What did you think was going to happen if you described your political opponent like that? Now, I'm not saying this because I agree with Trump on everything or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, if you describe your opponent as all these really bad things and then somebody tries to kill him, like, what did you expect was going to happen?
It is incredible that such an act could take place in our country. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. God bless America. And back out here, outside of where this rally took place just hours ago, we are just the last remaining network crew, and no one else is allowed in at this time. We know that behind
because it's a fucking crime scene, guys. Like,
we have seen an increase in the amount of officials that have gone in. We've also seen people leave. We actually just spoke to one man who was a physician. He said that this was his very first Trump rally. He just spoke to the FBI about
that guy.
He said he rushed to the aid of that bystander, of that attendee that ultimately
I think
passed away due to his injuries. He said he was trying.
I think right up here is where the other people got hit.
A sense of how this looks right now. Behind me, where the lights are, that is where this Trump rally took place. And within minutes of the former president taking the stage, that's when we heard the gunshots.
Can I rewind it? How do I went too far.
In the head. From what I heard, I seen someone else give the.
Well, I plan on talking to him.
Went too far.
I hope.
How do I skip? Damn it. Okay, hold on.
Look,
when it comes back up, I'll pause it, but
it's sick. It's sick.
Rush to the aid.
Okay, pause. Okay, so Trump was on the podium here, right? And he got shot in the right ear as he was looking this way. So if I'm correct, the shooter was way out over here, basically, shooting this direction, like at his profile view. Because I believe that the two people that got hit were over on these bleachers. It might have been these, but I'm pretty sure it's these because these are smaller bleachers and this is larger bleachers, and the video that I saw looked like it was these smaller bleachers. So that means that it was miss over into the upper portion up here, which makes sense because both of the people that were evacuated from the bleachers came from the upper right hand portion, and then they were evacuated this way. And then it also would make sense because Trump turned to look this way, and that's when he got hit in the ear slightly. But I don't know, the angle doesn't really make much sense. It might have been this one, because if it had been directly sideways, it would have just hit Trump in the side of the head, not the ear. So maybe it was this bleacher. Either way, the people that got hit were in the upper portion of the bleachers, midsection to upper portion. So they were either here or here. So from over here, way out here, travels, hits him in the ear at that that okay, I think it was these bleachers. But you can see how big, like when you're watching it on TV, it does not look like it's that far away, right? So you can see like these bleachers are actually quite a distance behind the podium, but when you're watching on TV, it looks like they're like right there, like right next to it. So yeah, I think it was probably somewhere over here. I don't know for sure because they haven't really shown anything other. This is like the biggest wide angle that I've seen of the actual venue. So let's go back to live. Oop. See if I can get to live.
And until medical team arrived and got him out, and from there I helped the police and crowd control with getting people out of there because people were very nervous.
Oh, they're talking to the guy, the medical doctor who helped the guy who got shot in the head.
Where the shooter was at, or said to be at. So I assisted with getting people down and getting people out. And I try to keep kids calm and just get people clear.
Wow, Rico. Obviously, we want to be sensitive to the victim's family.
Yes.
But can you tell us more about this person, where they were? Was it a man? Was it a woman?
Well, it was a male. It was a male victim. He was literally just sitting there in the stands. He had to be maybe 3 or 4 rows up from the bottom of the bleachers where everybody was sitting. And 1 second, where everyone's cheering and happy and listening to what Trump's saying, and the next minute, he's gone.
Rico, did you have any training in this sort of?
Okay, so it seems like it was the bleachers that were directly behind Trump, not the ones off to the side.
I mean, I'm in the military. I'm in the 171st Air Refueling Wing, and we learn first aid and self-aid buddy care and basic training. And at the point, as soon as I heard the shots and I seen and heard someone yell medic, my first instinct was, I'm trained in self-aid. I'm trained in applying a tourniquet, but I'm not trained to see someone's, what I witnessed.
I mean, nobody can be trained for that. And we're getting the sense, Rico, not just from you, but from others, I think there's going to be some serious time, some healing that's going to need to take place for the people who were there and saw all of this, and especially for you to see everything up close. And you got the sense early on that that this person was lost?
From understanding head wounds and how they operate, when I seen what I seen, I was afraid that person was lost. And reading what has been done, said, and stated in the news so far, those are now facts, which is a shame.
Rico, I don't even know if these are the right words to ask this question, because most people have never been in this situation, but how are you processing what you saw and what you witnessed?
I mean, one can only process what happened, hopefully as slow as possible. But my worry, my heart at this point in time is not for myself, but it's for the families of the loved one.
We just saw him, Trump, duck behind the podium, and then a Secret Service pile on top of him.
Sorry guys, I wasn't laughing at this. My girlfriend did something silly, so I'm not insensitive. Forgive me.
One hit the speaker tower, and then chaos broke. We hit the ground, and the police converged to the grandstands.
I watched him kind of graze his ear, and then I heard a pop, and then he went down, and then I heard another pop, and then a Secret Service kind of came up to the stage. I mean, it was just a chaotic scene.
I could see his face. He was right there talking, having a good time. And, you heard one shot, two shot. It sounded like, bang, nothing crazy. And then you heard maybe 3 or 4 more, and that's when everyone got quiet, started panicking. Trump dropped right to the floor. I guess Secret Service jumped on top of him and shielded him. But, as soon as everyone in the crowd figured out what was going on, we all ducked, and my buddies just jumped on top of me, piled on top of me. And
Yeah, that was one of the more surprising things was when the shots came out and Trump went down, all the people in the stands behind didn't do anything. Like, a lot of them just kind of stood there and watched it happen, but they didn't, react. It's like nobody in the stands really has any idea that, oh, there's bullets flying, I should probably get down and make myself as small as possible. It's crazy.
Oh, forgive me. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of a delay, but on that note about everybody getting up and running, we're actually showing video that you shot on your cell phone, and this is the moment with people running out of the venue. Describe what that was like, and when were you actually able to get out?
It was pretty stressful. I'm looking around trying to make sure all my buddies who came with me were with me. And, it took probably a good 10 minutes to get out of there, to get out of the whole area. And, before you know it, there's ATVs and UTVs flying and ambulances and all that kind of stuff. And we're trying to figure out how to get out of there and get home. But we made it. And when we walked out to the road, they had, police blocking everything off. And we actually found out where the building was that the shooter was shooting from. They had it all taped off. I guess it was like an agricultural warehouse, something like that. So, it was pretty scary. It's like you're in the movies.
Stephen, forgive me again. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of a delay with the connection, but did you say that you were able to see the building that the shooter was allegedly perched on top of here? You said it was taped off by law enforcement. What did it look like?
It looked like a building, bro. What do you mean, what did it look like?
Agricultural equipment, I guess.
Okay, hold on, guys. We don't need to listen to this for a second. What is the obsession with the news saying this? They've asked almost every person that they have interviewed, so what did the building look like? It looks like a fucking building, bro. It's got a white roof. It's like a tannish building with a white roof. There's 7 of them in the same area. I don't understand why they're asking, what did the building look like? It's a 1-story building, and the guy was on top of it. You guys have pictures of that building. I don't understand. I can understand asking the guy, oh my God, so, all of this stuff that happened, how did you feel? What did it look like with the guy that was on the ground, and the pandemonium and this and that of people that maybe didn't actually there's no pictures or video of that specific area, but we have pictures of the building. We have pictures of Secret Service standing over the dead body of the guy that was on top of the building. I don't understand the fascination with asking that dumbass question. I feel like they're just trying to milk this story for all it's worth, because the media is dying slowly, and this is the first time I've watched any TV news media in 2 or 3 years, because they never have anything worthwhile to say. So this story is a little drop of publicity for them that they're going to milk for everything that it's worth. So I fully expect to continue hearing about this for 3-4 days. Any new little piece of information that comes out, they're gonna milk it. That's my prediction. You guys put your predictions in the comments, because I'm pretty sure that you guys are on my side with that. But yeah, so it's crazy. Trump was almost killed, but the shooter sucked, so he's not dead. Unfortunately, because he sucked, he missed and killed somebody else that was just a spectator, and injured 2 other people. Hopefully those 2 people pull through, but there's no news on that quite yet. We'll see what happens. I may do another live stream a little bit later, maybe either later tonight or tomorrow, maybe. It depends on what information comes out, if there's anything worthwhile talking about, because at this point they're just recapping everything and interviewing the same people over and over again. If you guys want to watch more of it, you can go and watch literally any YouTube stream from CBS, Fox, or anything else that's going on right now. But yeah, I will probably make a video about it or a live stream about it at a later date if there's any new information comes out or anything like that. If you guys liked this video and or my content, go ahead and go subscribe, like my stuff, and go to watch some of my other videos. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. If something insanely new happens, because I'm going to monitor this, I will be back online. Anyway, guys, I appreciate all of you guys, and I'll see you guys later.